She got a head like a daddy, got a head that I like, nigga. RP trouble. I'm not gonna have fuss like I'ma step on these niggas and show 'em my muscles. Cut out my roster hole, you know I'm a cold baby, show me your hustle. I am my brother, keep it, you know we be keep it, I got your shit. The kitty got hold of your tongue, I'm taking the word right out your lip. I wanna know A's at the bank, they wanna know when I'm gonna drop some shit. They told me speak up, well I done slept, walk to a bag off my land, nigga. My daddy was hustling, my uncle was smoking that shit, I know both sides. I don't care if God herself had told you to her nigga, she lying. I'ma talk my shit, whatever come to my mind, whenever I find. I'm just trying to hide the time they pay me.
Yeah, that's my favorite song right now. Mumble Man by Niante. His new album coming out in like April. So yeah, that's I saw the song drop. I was like, oh yeah, let's get it. All right, back to the video. What's up, y'all? It's Nick. I'm gonna give some context real quick. So this is gonna be a series about the ACT and the validity of the test, and I'm telling it through the medium of accounts from classmates and friends and stuff like that, and my accounts as well. And it was one day in class where a teacher mentioned that we were going to be taking the ACT in like next week or something. This is like a couple weeks ago. So they said we were going to take the ACT a week from then, and we had this cram day, and one of our teachers said that this day can affect the next 10 years of your life. And I was like, I want to test that. So I thought, oh, journalism. Ooh, let's make a video. I haven't done one since March 8th, right? So yeah, I thought, ooh, I'll make a video. So yeah, that's what these next videos are gonna be. And the first video is me and a friend that I've made, Aura. She's really thoughtful and she has a unique perspective. So get ready for that. Also, I want to clarify something. On the title card, you saw Trevon and Aura, and I just want to say, like, as a director and as a writer, just as a creative, I just want to distinguish myself from all the other Nicks out there, and in real life too. Like, I don't know why well, I do know why, but I would much rather go by my middle name. For a while, I didn't have a middle name. Like, people would figure it out, and then it would be like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't match at all. But yeah, now I'm reclaiming it. Now I'm embracing it. So yeah, if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments. So yeah, this is my conversation with Aura, and let's get it. All right, this is Nick, and could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Aura. I'm a junior from Warren Early College High School here in Warrenton, North Carolina. And I'm here to talk with Nick about some really cool stuff.
All right. How's your day been?
It's been pretty chill, back from spring break. You know how slow it is.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, how are you?
You're not on spring break.
Oh, no. Are you guys still on spring break?
Yeah, we just started today.
Oh, must be really nice. I'm really jealous.
Did you guys have only 1 week?
Yeah, we only had 1 week. Do you guys have 1 week?
Yeah, we also have 1 week. I guess it's just weeks apart or something. I don't think everybody has it the same week. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my day was pretty good. I got some filming done for the film that's upcoming, that I talked about with you. That's going to be in the talent show.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you some questions about, standardized testing, the ACT and stuff like that. Um, what's your experience, going through public school with standardized testing, or were you even in public school, or, How's that been?
Um, I've been in the public school system for like my entire life, as
Okay.
well as anybody. Um, I think the environment was made for us to do really good in tests. Like I was taught to be like, hey, you need to do really good so you can get an A for this test, so you can get an A in this class.
Mm-hmm.
And like lately, I've just realized how much that burnt me out throughout the years.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a really bad like motivational thing, I think,
Mm-hmm.
because like to me, education should be something that you want to do. It should be something. You should be doing it because you want to learn, not because you want to be like up with the grind and like get all straight A's just so like college admission like officers want you.
Mm-hmm.
And with standardized testing throughout the years, I've just realized how much I've been too focused on getting good grades than I did with like actually learning. And that has led me to rely on my short-term memory more than my long-term memory. Because
Mm-hmm.
now when I learn things, it's like, oh, what was it again? Like even if the teacher teached us something or taught us something the day of, I would forget it the week next. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not a common thing. I've talked about it with like my peers, and you probably experience it too, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait, is that a segue for me to talk, or were you still going?
I don't know, you can go, you can talk about it.
Okay. All right. With standardized test taking, it has affected me, like being labeled as academically gifted. That really messed me up because that gave me an
Yeah,
ego boost that I really didn't need at the time, especially in like an elementary school and a middle school setting. I was pretentious about my grades and my test scores, and I was I was starting to view my classmates as numbers. And
yeah,
that was not the mindset that I needed to have that early on in life. And just these tests, they're made to set us apart from each other, to distinguish us from each other, to turn us into numbers and not um and to dehumanize us is what I'm trying to say. Like
hmm,
I wasn't looking at when I was in fifth grade, actually. This is when the test taking really when I really hit my stride. Um I got a 5 on the EOG and then
hmm,
thought I was better than everyone else. But this is
yeah,
just this is just a test. This is just one day that I've been preparing for like an entire school year. How we do on this test doesn't solidify who we are as humans or our career path at all. Like I could get a 5 on that EOG, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna get into the university that I want to get into or get on a path
hmm,
that I want to go on. It's just one day, and I think we fail. Like the test is made for us to um, push that to the side and focus on getting the right number. So, yeah, I do agree with that sentiment that of what you're talking about, where prioritizing the short term memory because I'm always preparing for being tested on something.
yeah. And like the funny thing is, I remember like freshman year and sophomore year, it's like every week we had a test, and it's like hard to keep up. Like, what should I know? What should I not know? And how should I know everything and everything every week with so many other things coming up? And I think like in middle school, for me, it was like I didn't feel as competitive as like my other peers because like everyone was really competitive. I came from like a really competitive middle school, and in a way, our teachers telling us to like do good for your test made me forget that like, oh, these are my friends. Oh, these are people that I really empathize with, and these are people that empathize with me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I did also start seeing them as like competitors, and then like other students who also struggle, other students who also have like strengths and weaknesses like me.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of has stuck with me all throughout middle school and up to now actually. I'm just now like realizing how bad it's gotten, and like trying to not be so up stick to the grind, and just trying to enjoy like learning, coming at it as we go. I'm still like really concerned about like getting good grades, because I really want that. That's not a bad thing to want, but it's not, compiled with the fear of like, if I don't do good, I'll be like miserable in life. It's going to be like an indicator for I am, but that's not really true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the funny thing is, I actually talked with an English professor of mine over at the Van Scramble early college, no, community college, and he said the exact same thing. He went to high school like the early 2000s or something. He didn't take the ACT because at that time people said it was like optional, and like he didn't really like taking tests, so he just really didn't do it. But despite that, he said that like he didn't take it because he was bored of it, or because he thought it was like a bad practice of any sort, but because it promoted this kind of like idea that like grades define who you are, when that's not really true. And like his major advice for me, because we're about to take the ACT. You're a junior as well, right?
Yeah, our test date got moved because when we did take it last week, the test malfunctioned because we were doing it online instead of
Oh,
on paper.
okay. Well, our school's gonna do it next week. We're gonna do it on paper because of, yeah, there's been like a lot of like digital errors I've heard from like other friends as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that test, that the ACT is coming up, it's like I've been somewhat preparing for it like my entire school year, the past couple of school years with the pre-ACT and like the ACT coaches, but which have been like, they've been really good help. But even if like I get a bad score in the end, it's not like a big do it all or die kind of situation,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The way our coaches were presenting it to us, it was definitely like you said, like a defining moment. Like this is gonna shape the next 10 years of your life, and that's that's scary to me. That's very much fear
Yeah.
mongering, if I'm being honest. Like
No,
to
no, no, I
say
agree.
that to say that this one day and what you do on this one day is gonna define everything else. Like the your dream job interview that you get, and then they're gonna ask you, "What was your ACT score?" Like, like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
laughable, bro. It's not real. That's not a real representation of what this test is. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a trick. If we're being honest, it's a riddle. It's can you get this
Yeah.
many questions done in this amount of time? It's not about the subject at all because I've taken the real thing before because I took a class for it last year and I took the real thing and
Mhm.
the nothing compares to the day that you do it. Like
Yeah.
we can do all this preparing, but nobody's there to save you that day when you do it.
Yeah.
And that's what's different about
Yeah.
it. So I think if they really if if the ACT coaches that are at my school wanted to really help us, then I don't know, they might just lie to us and be like, "Hey, you're taking it today," and then it ends up being a practice ACT to see how we were actually going to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they really wanted to see an accurate representation of what we might end up doing, a prediction, if you will. So yeah, um, what about you? Do you think what's the what's your verdict on the validity of the test? Like, do you think it's helpful to a student?
I think, in a way, the process of preparing for a big test such as this is crucial and like kind of shows like the discipline and the skill a student could have with the mindset that they're taking something really important. If they're like slacking off a lot, it's like it shows how they act when they're under pressure. And I think that's what like the job industry wants. It's like, how do you act and when you're under a lot of pressure? Because in the real world, there's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a lot of pressure. And I think that's like the big thing with standardized tests. Like they want to like give you a little taste of what it's like to be out there in the wild. But I don't think I can say the same thing about like the validity of it because yeah, sure it shows like how someone can create like work under this amount of pressure, but it doesn't show what someone can create when they're not. I've seen friends of mine, I've seen like like fellow students, like they create amazing projects. They're really great at like public speaking, um, doing athletic stuff, and like just being at their own like environment, their own atmosphere, and just like doing it all without pressure. And like sometimes you see that they actually do even better.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really say much about the validity of the results other than like it is more of a practice of like how to work under pressure than it is a genuine performance of what a person actually is or who they actually are.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Um, my last question would be that if you could change the way the test is formatted, or if you could give a new test see that could give a more accurate representation of a student's attributes, personality traits, and capabilities, how would you format that?
Well, I've really thought about it quite a lot actually, and I've thought about doing semester like what do you call it, like biannual tests every year or so. We do have that. We have the EOCs, we have the EOGs. I think there's even another one called like MYO or MG. I don't know. But even so, I think like there isn't particularly a perfect way of measuring a student's excellence by test taking because test taking in itself, the features of it, the pressure, like I've said, the time constraint that it's like limiting the student into, it's part of it. It's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be absolutely like straining and irritating. And that's often the part that like the conflicting part of it that people are like arguing aren't efficient. So if we're thinking about a new measure of like attaining a student's like ability, then it can't be just test taking. It's got to include other things. I don't know what those other things are. But the main thing is like it can't be just test taking.
All right. Um, I don't have anything else to ask. I would just say that I admire your perspective on it. You know, seems like you have a pretty level head on um, these tests and their effect on you. Um,
Yeah.
is there anything that you're doing to, you know, unlearn that dehumanization that you've endured, or is there any way that you're
Well,
coping?
I imagine that endured is a really strong word, but I
Oh,
respect
okay, all right.
that. Um, but it's okay. I think it's just trying to like work with the system that we have and getting the best out of it. That's what I'm doing right now.
All right.
Nothing much to endure endure
Yeah,
anything, but more as to like understand the flow of it all and like
yeah,
knowing that this thing is meant to be foreign and controlling and like in a way it generalizes us. There's some good pros in it, but there's also the cons that we can't really ignore. But then again, there isn't much we can do because there's little opportunity given to us to talk about it.
hmm,
Um, so thank you for making this whole project you're doing. I
yep,
hope your film is gonna, be real good. I can't wait to see it. Let
yep.
me know when it drops.
All right, I will. Thank you for, you know, talking with me for a couple minutes, and yeah, this is definitely gonna make it.
Okay, glad
All
to
right,
know. Thank you.
yep.
Good night.